Hi everyone, it's another day, another share. We're doing a tutorial. I am continuing doing another project with this ruler. This ruler is the 45 diamond dimensions ruler. So anyways, this is what I'm going to do another project. I have already done one project with it, the most difficult one that they offer with this ruler and explain with this ruler. So I did a tutorial, I think it's a 3-part tutorial that I did. And now I'm going to show you another one, and I'm making a very large table runner with this ruler. So I'm going to hold this up. This is half of what we were going to work with. So I'm going to show you how to make these diamonds here, how to cut them. I'm going to show you how to do these half diamonds, and then wrong hand and these elongated half diamonds. I'm going to explain to you how to do it. This is half of the table runner. This table runner, I don't know what the length is, but we'll measure it at the end. It's going to be about 21 inches finished. So we will, I'm going to switch to the upper camera, and we're going to take a look. So the first thing I need to do is cut these diamonds out. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that. And so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to cut a strip. To make this table runner, you need 2 strips to make the amount of diamonds. I'm doing 4 full-size diamonds. So you need 2 strips because you get 2 of those 4-size diamonds, those big diamonds, out of 1 strip. You will cut the strip the width of the ruler. That's what you will do. The width of the ruler, which in this case is 8.5 inches. And once you've done that, you are going to, and I'm just going to make sure that I'm not in the selvages here. This selvage is quite big. This collection is called Sweet and Sour by Elena Fay, and it's Paintbrush Studios. You can find them on my website. I'll put the link down below. The gold fabric I'm using is a Kona cotton. I do not know the number, but again, I will put the link down below. So the first cut is like this. Now you're going to pick up the ruler and turn your strip around. And then you're going to turn the ruler around, and sorry, you're not going to turn the ruler around. And you're just going to line up. In this case, there's a black line here, and then your sewing line is a light white dotted line. And you're just going to line up everything, making sure everything, and this black line, and here, and then you're just going to cut here. And then your full-size diamonds are done. I've cut 2 at the same time. Done. Now, the next thing you're going to cut is that half diamond. Now, you have to open up, and I'm just going to iron this. I'm just going to iron this quickly. And we're going to get that done. All right. So next, this is waste. I'm going to just push this away. Just give me a second. All right. So the next thing we want to do is we want to cut the elongated half triangle. And to measure this strip, I'm just going to line this strip up carefully and make sure it's straight. Okay. So to measure this strip, you're going to go from this, there's a 1/4 inch here, and there's a 1/4 inch here. But and you don't cut on the middle line, because if you do that, the diamond will not have the 1/4 inch seam allowance. You have to incorporate that 1/4 inch seam allowance. So you're going to cut on the next dotted black line. And from that line to here is just under 5 inches, so you cut a 5-inch strip. You're going to cut like that, and then along here, and go ahead and cut this edge off. Oh, it didn't cut. Of course it didn't cut, because I'm coming at it at a funny angle. There we go. And also, oops, daisy, shift it because I'm being very aggressive. You're going to cut there. So that is your diamond, half diamond long, okay? And then you would get a second one out of this by turning the ruler and lining things up like that and cutting, like, you know, cutting another one. You can get only 2 out of a strip. So we only need 1. And now I'm going to show you how to cut. Get rid of this extra. I'm going to show you how to cut these pieces. Okay? And you need so many of those. Now I'm only doing a table runner. And the reason why I'm only doing a table runner is because it's fast. For demo, it's fast. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to line, and you know what, I'm going to do it the other way because I don't want to. Okay, so I'm going to line up again. You have to add, you don't want to cut on the center line, and if you do that, you won't have up here, you won't have a 1/4 inch seam allowance. You'll be losing, it will be too small. So you want to go a 1/4 inch on the other side of that line from your piece. And then you're going to line that up. There we go. Now, this piece here is measured, and I did not measure. This piece here is 11.5 inches. So from here to here is 11.5 inches. So let me line that back up again. There we go. That looks good. There we go. That looks good. So we're just going to go ahead and cut that. So now I have my 2 ends and my point. Now I'm going to show you how they go together. So I have this other half ready to go. Okay, and I'm actually going to do it this way. And because this is going to be sewn onto this, like this. Okay, so this will be sewn onto this, but I'm going to show you how to get these ends on. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is I'm going to look for my diamonds. Okay. I just need 1 more diamond on this half. Like that. And I need a half diamond here to close off the end. So I think that works. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to sew one of these here and one of these on this side to be able to put these 2 together. And then once those 2 are together, we would put one on this and another of these diamonds on this side, and then another. So this way I have a straight line to sew. So let's line these up, and we want to make sure we leave a 1/4 inch. And I'm going to pin. That looks really good. And there we go. And I'm going to go ahead and get this side pinned so I can show you and get it sewn. I'm going to make sure that there's a 1/4 inch here. Let me put this ruler away now because we don't need that. Oop, bang the. Okay, that looks good. And this side. And now I'm only doing 1 row, and I'm doing four full size triangles, diamonds I should say, with 2 half diamonds on either side to close the row off. And I'm just gonna, that's 1 row, and I'm just doing a table runner size, a nice big one. Let me switch over to the sewing machine. There we go. Now, you could do one of these rows multiple times, put them together into rows, and make a big quilt. And a diamond quilt, it would look beautiful. I did one for my daughter years ago, and it was just stunning. She still has it. She still uses it. She loves it. And there we are. That one's sewn. Okay, and then we're going to sew the other one. I am really liking this particular ruler. There's other projects within the ruler instructions that come with the ruler. I'm going to just remove my cutting because I don't need my cutting board right now. And I'm going to get this, I'm looking for my, oh, there they are. And let me just switch back to here. And so I've sewn them. I'm just cutting off the excess, keep things neat and tidy. And I'm just going to get my iron going, and we will take this, and then I'll show you how to put the diagonal pieces together. There's one. I think it goes like this. All right, and then I'm going to get this one done. And you can hear my steam. I do use steam. Okay, so now we need to match this up. That's what we need to match up. So I am actually going to sew these, but I'm going to pin. And you just need to go a little past. They need to overlap. So that's basically what you want. And actually, I want a little more. So that's basically what you want, is about that. And I'm just going to make sure that I am a 1/4 inch past. All right, that feels about right. And it oh yes, it does look nice. Okay. Let's hope I can. That's the hardest part of this project, is to get those seams to match. Now, again, you have to be careful with stretch and everything because we are working with a bias edge here. I'm going to put another needle there. Another needle there. And then I'm going to go ahead and get this sewn. And then we'll open it up and iron it and see how good I want to sew from this edge. And here we go. So now a lot of you may be noticing that I'm just sewing over my needles. I slow down to approach and it just slides over. Just make sure that when you do that, sewing over your needle, that your needles are pointing out towards the raw edge of the units that you're sewing together. Okay, this is, yeah, it's lined up. It's going to be pretty close, if not perfect. I'm praying it's perfect. Keep our fingers crossed. And there we go. That looks pretty good. We'll see how good it is. So let me open this up and switch to the overhead camera. So let's take a look and see how good I managed to sew this together. I've got my fingers crossed. Let me check. Oh, ha ha ha. I did it. I managed to get those points to come together very nicely. So I am thrilled. And that is the second half almost done. Now we need to do this. Again, we're going to sew one triangle to here. So let me grab, where's my triangles? Where are my triangles? Okay, so we need to sew, let me just move this out of the way. So we need to sew our last two triangles together. So we're going to sew one there onto this side, and then we're going to sew one to that side. So let's see if I can manage to get this to work. Okay, I kind of like that. We're going to just get some pins. There we go. One in the center and one here. And see how I have a little bit past the diamond. I don't know if you can see that. Let me just move my hands around. So see how I have that just a little bit past, and then here it's a funny shape at the bottom of this because the way the ruler cuts it, but I kind of eyeball. I want to come off of this point. So from here to here is about 1/4 inch, and that's what I want. And now I'm just going to go ahead and pin this, the same thing. I want to be this point 1/4 inch away from this line coming off. And I want to line that up. I don't know if you can see this. I want to line that up as close to this edge as possible. And there we are. I think that is pretty damn good. I'm just gonna fudge it a little bit. That looks really, really good. And I'm gonna go ahead and put some pins in here. It's a little more than I like. Okay, and one more in the center. And I'm actually going to, yeah, that looks fine. I'm going to sew it. So let's just switch over to the sewing machine. And we're just going to sew towards the center. 1/4 inch. Ah, I hit the needle a little bit. When that happens, you do two things. One, you could, and I'm not hearing any clacking, so I'm not worried. You can put a little burr in your needle, so you would switch out your needle, sewing needle, or you put a burr in this, and I can feel it. So I'm actually going to throw that needle away. I'm just going to put it here because I have a little thing. So it happens. You do hit the needle. So two things will happen. You will either ruin a pin, or you'll need to replace. I'm going to just iron this. And see, I've got my 1/4 inch there. So I'm really, really happy with that. And now I'm going to go ahead and sew this. Switch back to the sewing machine. And I'm going to go ahead and sew this. Now that happens because, like, when you slide over the needle, sometimes your needle is not straight enough to sew over, and you'll kind of hit it, and there I hit it slightly. I don't worry about it. I just change my sewing needle, or I throw away the pin. And there, that one's done. All right. So let's iron this. I'm really, really pleased with the way, and I love these colors. Now, this is Sweet and Sour collection, and this is a Kona solid. So I will put the link, like I said earlier, I will put the link for these fabrics down below into the description, so you can just link over and take a look at all the fabrics in the collection. So now we need to sew. We need to sew this to this. And again, I'm just going to turn this straight like that. And I'm going to, the first thing I want to do is line that up. And I'm eyeballing the 1/4 inch. So what I've done is I fold it down right on that seam 1/4 inch over, because I want to line that up right there. I don't know if you can you see that? I want to line this line up with this. So I fold this down by 1/4 inch, and I've lined it up. And it looks lined up. I'm just going to fold this back. I'm going to make sure that the edges are lined up also. And then what I do is I take my needle and I feel with my finger, and I bring that needle, and it's not straight. I want it straight because I'm going to be sewing over it. So I bring that sewing line up. All right, just checking to make sure that I didn't lose sound. It doesn't look like I have. So I'm still, like I said, I am not editing any of these, so you're getting my edits fresh, and my. All right, so we're just going to pull this past a little bit, and so I'm just going to sew off of that edge. I'm just going to sew off of right along here, and that's going to line up fine. Yes, there's extra fabric there. It's just the way it's cut. I haven't really figured out the best way to cut that, but that's what it is, and I'm going with it. All right, so let's go to the sewing machine and get this one, and then after that we will join the two sides together. And here we go. Oh, it's stuck. Now, I don't think that lined up as nice as I would have liked it, but we'll find out in a minute. If I don't like it, I can always gently unstitch and do it, redo it, right? There we go. Okay, so let's switch back. So we're going to just take a quick look. I have a funny feeling it hasn't lined up as, oh, maybe it has. And my needle was in the wrong place. So we'll see. We'll find out in a minute. Let me just check. Oh yeah, it's a little off, but it's not substantially off. It's not as good as the other one, the one I did before, but it's pretty close. It's just a little over. They're not just touching, they're a little over. But in the big picture of things, that is going to be just fine in my books. All right, so now I have, oh, let me just move that out of the way. I have this half done. So I have this half, and now I want to put the other half on. So the last sewing is, is this. So we're going to sew these two halves together, and then the table runner will be, the top will be completed. That looks really cool. All right, so let's get this pinned and sewn together. Again, let's see if I can match some things up. This is a little easier because I've got a match there and I've got one here. Now I just got to check. See, that's lining up nicely. That's lining up quite nice. I'm just going to double check. All right, so let's get a pin in there. I think that's pretty good. Maybe not. There we go. That looks pretty good. And we are just going to match those seams. That feels like it's more than a 1/4 inch. There we go. That's better. That's way better. There we go. Let's hope that's better. Okay, so now we're just going to line this up here. And we're going to put a pin there, and then we're going to line up this edge here, and we're going to put a pin there. Okay, and we're going to put another pin down the center. And again, remember, these are cut on the 45, so these are stretchy seams. So I have a little fullness here, so I think I'm going to flip it and put this. There's no fullness on either side. Well, there's a little fullness there, but not by much. So I don't think it's going to make a difference on which side I sew. So let's go back to the sewing machine, and let's try to sew these together. This is getting a little heavy. So if you can't see, it's because I have to have my hand on this to hold it. There we go. Oh, the pin's got stuck. There we go. I am excited to see this all finished. And there we go. So let's see how good it is. So let's see. I'm just going to cut these extra strings off. Oops. And I'll just put that there. And we will unpin this. I'm going to take a peek. Oh, yes. I did it again. It is done well. Okay, so let me just get this ironed. I'm going to relax the threads, and then we're going to iron it. Now, I like to iron my seams to one side. That's just the way I am. Oh, this is a bit of a mess. There we go. And I'm just going to fix this seam. That doesn't look nice. That looks much better. I'm just trying to make sure all my seams are nicely ironed and as flat as I can get them. And they all look really nice. So let me switch to the front camera. And there it is. Let me just hold this up. So there it is. Isn't that absolutely stunning? Now, you can do, this is not very wide, and I want to measure it. I'm going to measure this now. Let me see if I can measure this. So, this is 24 plus 20. So we're looking at 44 inches. 44 inches from one side to the other. So if you wanted to make this wider, you just add a couple of you would put a couple of these more in and cut some more of these. If you wanted to make it wider and you want to make it into a quilt, not just a table runner that's this wide, you would do multiple strips like this and then sew them all together. So it is a very fast and easy project, and it was really great to work with this ruler. I am really loving this ruler. I will probably do more personal quilts with this ruler. There's other ideas that they've shown here with this ruler, and I will probably one day try one of the other ones. I've done 2 out of their suggestions, and with this ruler, it's super easy to work with. I love it. Doesn't slide because Creative Grid has those grippy sandpaper edges on one side of the back side of the ruler, so it doesn't move. By using these rulers, I'm getting a way better cut for all my shapes. So we'll see you on the next Other Day Another Share, and I will put the link down below for this ruler and the Kona cotton and for the sweet and sour collection of the fabrics that I used today. So we'll see you next time. Happy quilting. Bye-bye.